Hello, welcome to the video for today. So, as the title says, it is a good idea for a game. Basically, let me tell you a story. When I was a child, a while back, I got PlayStation 3, and with the PlayStation 3 there were two games. There was Lego Star Wars Complete Saga and Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. And we are focusing on the second one, Ratchet and Clank. So basically, the Ratchet and Clank itself as a series, definitely at the beginning, it had very, very expressive characters with their behavior and tone of voice and everything. And it did stay later on. They damped it down a bit, but it was still quite strong, in my opinion, in Crack in Time, and it was good. So, what I wanted to talk about is that my experience with the game when I was a child, I didn't understand English. And as I played the game, I didn't know what the hell they were saying. My whole perception of the lore was me imagining what's going on by first of all what I see, and by the how the characters sound, how they behave, how they act. It was a cool experience. My perception of the floor was a bit different than it actually is, that's for sure, but it's definitely a cool experience of imagining it. And then, I could, as I learned English in the future, I could come back to it and learn actually what the story is. But my idea, because that was a very cool experience to experience space, other species, and don't know what they say. And I don't know would other people like it, but I had an idea of a game settled in space with different species, different creatures that speak their own language, and we hear their own language, but don't really get a translation at all. We just hear them speak. We hear their tone of voice. We hear how they articulate, how we see their gestures and everything, but we don't really hear what do they speak about. And our own perception of story may differ from the perception of another player, because all we got to go off is the plot that is shown to us, but we don't understand the dialogue itself. We can see just how characters behave towards each other physically, or the tone that they use. We don't really know the exact reactions of there's a lot of place for speculation and for making your own version of the story that could be accurate. Because if I've done it, I've been also thinking, like, do they want to, I don't know, maybe release a translation after a month, or maybe let people have the actual translated dialogue when they play it the second time. And that would also be a good idea, but I think it would be the best to leave it to everyone's interpretation, that their own version of the story could be the real one for them and in general, because there isn't one that is said to be definitely canon. There can be just multiple true versions of the story, as the events are the same, but the whole journey, the whole dialogue is a bit different. And this idea seems so cool to me. I mean, if I could make a game, I would do it. I think that I would realize something like this, because it seems cool. I think it allows to have like a big creative freedom in the way you perceive story, yet still the story is there is a real story, but you have a freedom of how you perceive it, and you can have your own opinion. The other person can have their own opinion, and I would be really glad to, because there would be great, probably, explanations on YouTube and other platforms of someone talking like, so I think he said this, and I think he said this, and I think that they're a couple, or I think they hate each other. That would be, I think they're secretly in love, because that's a hate-love relationship. I think they're siblings. I think he adopted him as a child because he was an orphan. I would love to see such a theories. I would love, if I created the whole story and the game, at least been one of the people involved in production, I would love to see such thing. So basically, because there is a chance, people are creative, there are a lot of games, there is a chance that somebody already made game with such idea, but I don't know of existence of this game. So first of all, if you know of existence of such game, you can tell me in the comments. But the other thing is, if nobody made a game like this, at least not a solid game like this, then I take this idea of my own, and you can use it. But if you make a game like this with my idea and I inspired you, I want a free copy of the game. Okay? Okay, cool. So that's the whole thing. Feel free to use the idea, but I want a free copy of the game. And also, if I can be involved in creating the story, I'd be glad. Thanks a lot. I'll need to get paid. I just want to be creatively involved. Bye.